Paul was something different for everyone. And I think that none of us ever got to see the whole Paul. And we all saw parts. And, you know, that part was so much. But anyway.
The combination of things that I cherish in Paul and that have influenced me are widely divergent, but equally significant in my life. To put it simply, they are his unique ability to de-glamorize the glamorous and to boldly celebrate the mundane aspects of life.
Paul goes, what the hell is a gratitude journal? And I go, well, a gratitude journal is when you sit down every day and you write down what you're thankful for. So we started talking about what we're thankful for. What would we enter in our gratitude journals? Of course, Paul is on the other end of the line going, thank you so much for my wonderful job. And I love David so much. So eventually we got around to the fact that, fuck this gratitude idea. Let's go for a sarcasm journal.
I'm Quentin. I'm from Belgium, and I came 12 years ago as an exchange student to graduate from Davis High School. That's when I met Paul. We have been in touch ever since, and Paul was my best man at our wedding in May last year. We have always suffered from the distance being so far. 10 hours of flight, it's a long distance. We're not being able to hug each other or simply to see each other.
I just don't know how to feel about this. I mean, I know how I'm supposed to feel, and I know how bad I do feel. I just don't know how to put meaning to this feeling.
Paul was, after all, the quintessential performer. Ironically, Paul's death may have been a rehearsal for his next big show. You could argue that everything Paul ever did was a rehearsal for some upcoming show. That's one of the things that made Paul's art so amazing, the poignancy of real life, especially his life and emotions and feelings and experiences. In fact, many of us who knew Paul well have found that our real window into Paul's thoughts was through his performances. If you asked Paul how he was feeling in real life, you always got the same answer: never better in my life. Yet Paul's attempt to address the same question in a show would turn into a 2-hour monologue detailing the thoughts and insights and frustrations and plans and hopes and dreams and brilliant epiphanies. Some of the best lawsuit moments were not music at all. They were Paul telling some impromptu story about something that happened to him the day before the gig. Paul had an antagonistic relationship with the world. His relationships were contentious. His mind was often troubled. He had a difficult time eating and sleeping. He was deeply affected by human suffering that he perceived to be all around him. Putting a noose around his neck, call it rehearsal or otherwise, is just the latest manifestation of the antagonism that drove Paul to do a lot of crazy things that he did. But Paul was also loving and caring. He was touched by things that touched other people, especially his close friends and family. He felt your pain with you in a way that few people do. Paul was an inspiration in my life and the lives of many people here.
When somebody dies, their consciousness floats above us and then gets separated into all of us that cared about him. We're all absorbing him. And I just want everybody to realize how much what they have in them now, and what they had in them before, but what they have in them now more intensely than before is worth so much. And that's all.
I guess I'm going to have to find meaning in Paul's death just like I did in Dave's. But right now I can't feel anything. I just feel numb. All I know is that I'm going to miss Paul a lot. Thanks for listening.
I'm gagged because of Paul. And now that he's gone, I have to figure out how I can be gagged without Paul. And I think a lot of us in this room feel that way. That not only have we lost Paul, but we've lost ourselves in some ways. And how can we do that? How can we figure out who we are? But so that's really my goal, is to be more like Tag. And that's all I can say.
I will miss Paul dearly, more than I can express. He was the person in my early life that helped me become who I am, who gave me the courage to see the world in its true and ambiguous state, and who continued to help me define myself in the world through the many tragic and joyous events along the way he did for so many others here. I feel resolved in my relationship with Paul. There are no regrets, no unspoken thoughts that I would share with him now.
Paul was too deep and beautifully complicated to put in a neat and tidy little box of an explanation. Paul took a lot of things from people in this room and gave a lot of things to people in this room. Many of us have been hurt and helped by him. We have been inspired by him, and we have taught him and learned from him. We have hated him and loved him and kissed him and hugged him and sworn we'd never talk to him again. I would guess that many of us have been through the gamut of conceivable human emotions at one point or another with Paul. My advice to myself and to you is to honor the friendships you have, Paul's and otherwise, that can make you feel that alive. You can bet that Paul honored his relationships with you for all the same reasons.